Hey, hey, hey. As we know, life is full of surprises, both good and bad, and the day-to-day journey is full of unforeseen obstacles, and sometimes it's hard for us to see our way through. I'm the normal mundane, and we're unscripted dreams. Join us for thought-provoking discussions and interviews to help us navigate through the fog and create our own path. We are the Unscripted Dream Podcast, operating outside the margins to motivate and inspire our audience. So, people, today, how can I say this? Today is literally about thinking and upgrading your level of thinking. So the level of your thinking really consists of I don't know, however you process things or process things. But today's topic is about outward thinking. And so ideally, what outward thinking really is as it pertains to outward thinking in a motivational way, you're usually thinking about you know, ways you could, I guess, think about visualizing success. That's what I think of as far as outward thinking. That's my main objective in life is success. Everything is rooted around it as far as my objectives. So that ultimately is what I'm chasing. The pursuit of happiness, success. That's what it equates for me. But it can also mean that, when you're doing outward thinking in a motivational aspect, it could be you want to learn more, care importantly, resilience. That's a part of that. Helping others, embracing challenges, whichever may come to you, and practicing gratitude. I'm not saying everybody does that, but that's usually a very important piece as far as processing things in a healthy manner and moving forward with your life. Marcus, is there anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, so here you talk about visualizing success
Yep, that's the biggest one
and
for
it's
me.
and it's well this the whole thing, like the whole premise of our thinking is, having a plan. But this is really a tool. This is a skill set. This isn't I don't think it's something that comes naturally, especially if there's no emphasis. For some people it does. Like for some people they've always kind of thought like that. I think that's pretty rare. But as far as developing the ability to and I think it falls into thinking critically as well. And just because something doesn't it might not come natural to you doesn't mean it's a skill that can't be developed, but it's something that I think you have to be intentional about, and that's the key. So like I said, it's just a matter of asking yourself the right questions. And I think about when I was younger and I didn't ask myself the right questions, so I would only think about, like, I would really only think about my life maybe as a young adult. I'm not counting any of the stuff, the kid stuff, because I was just trying to eat candy, play basketball, and play video games, and that's about it. So, but, when I had that real weight of responsibility put on me, like when I'm first, in college or like fresh out of college, it was more so I was thinking maybe 3, 6 months ahead, max, like maximum, and really being intentional about the plan that I have, or had for myself. Because of that inability to think 5, 10, 15 years ahead, you run into situations that were preventable, avoidable. And if you were to have thought and asked yourselves the right questions in that moment, then the outcome would have been different. So, and I think that's a good exercise people can do too, is really reflect on, like, how far in advance are you looking at your life? Is it, you doing the YOLO, living for the day? Or are you thinking about the life that you want, 6 months out, 12 months out, a year, a couple of years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and just thinking about how that shapes your decision making?
You know what? I think you make a very good point right there, man, because an analogy to go along with that or something that people can visualize what you just mentioned. And people should think of like the windshield of a car and how much larger the rear mirror when you're driving in the driver's seat. And pretty much because it's more important to see where you're going that's in front of you, rather than compared to what's where and what's behind you. and where you're looking day through your windshield or in your rearview mirror or whatnot. You know, it's important to see your rear view and see where you came or where you're coming from. But as we know, like you have a whole bunch of things that are ahead of you. There's so many things that haven't been panned out or yet to be played out. And if you think about it from that perspective, that you're in the driver's seat of your life, that's how you got to envision things. It's because something bad happened in the past. You can't just stop everything and just go back. You know, it's a waste of time. I'm gonna leave it
Well,
there.
well, the past plays a role. The past does it has a role, like you're saying, like the review. Listen, there's a reason that rearview mirror is there. You want to
Yep.
know. You want to know. Alright? Um, like it's like, and I mean, I think that's kind of a good way to look at it because this is like objects maybe closer or worse than they appear.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I and you look at that, you think about it because we make decisions, and like I understand the importance of not looking back and moving forward, but the your past shapes who you are today, presently. And
Absolutely.
if you're not, and if you're someone who's wanting to make progress, sometimes you do need to look at your past decisions and like really evaluate why you make those decisions, but then kind of take the steps to move forward. It may be, like I say, reflect on those decisions that you made in the past. And as you're looking forward, make new decisions. Maybe you're making the same decisions in certain places as well, but it does have a place, but it's only used as a tool to move forward, not to kind of stay. I think not to encourage stagnation.
Right. And that's part of what I mentioned earlier, man. And the transition of the with that, if you're gonna associate any if you're gonna look at using the past for a positive bit, that would be staying resilient. So basically having the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges that you've had in the past. And pretty much, with a resilient mindset, you embrace those challenges and by staying positive and, focusing on solutions rather than problems. So, yeah, I think the other point there would, gratitude. I think that that's a big part of thinking about past experiences is gratitude. You appreciate what you have and be thankful for the people that you experienced in your past that got you to where you are now. And pretty much cultivate a positive attitude and focus on good things, even during whatever bad period of time that you're experiencing right now or have experienced.
The thing about gratitude, Jay, you kind of did disappear for a second there with the audio, but the thing
Oh,
about gratitude is, I think it's tough. Like that's a challenge. Like I do a lot of gratitude, like in my my work. We do a lot of like gratitude things and stuff like that. And sometimes it's more difficult. Like it's difficult. And I don't exactly think it's easy. I understand why people practice it. I understand the value of it, but at the same time, I think it's something that you have to like really practice and understand the fundamentals of why you're actually doing that gratitude and what kind of its role is. Cause this is more of a mindset episode, I think. But it's more so understanding why you do it in this role. Because if someone just asks you, like if you're just going around in a circle and someone's like mandatorily asking you to share something that you're grateful for and you don't really mean it, and you're just sharing it just because out of obligation, then it doesn't serve its purpose. And it really has to come from a place of uh like sincerity too. But I think that just the whole gratitude piece is something that I think that requires a bit of like a deep dive on that because it's I think it's just more complex and it's not something that you're able to really solve for at a surface level because I struggle with it and that's kind of how I know, or at least that's how I think about it. But moving on, Joe, can we move on?
yeah, we can move forward, man.
All right, all right. So one of the just a second, kind of the second topic here is the importance of thinking in solutions. And Joe kind of touched on it before too. I think resiliency is a big piece uh, of just the whole premise of what we're trying to communicate today. and that thinking in solutions and believing it's possible and understanding that you might be the first person to have a solve for something and believing it's possible that you can have that solution. Um, so I go back, it's like a famous, it's like an infamous interview with Sway, Sway in the morning, if you know this show. And it's Sway, he's interviewing Kanye. Um, Kanye and Sway's trying to tell him, like, because he's talking about his business, how he's trying to get from underneath people. And Sway kind of tells him, I'll probably put the link to this clip in the episode when this goes out. But Sway he tries to kind of tell him that why don't you, if you're having all these issues with people in these businesses, why don't you do something for yourself? And Kanye's response is he's pretty worked up. He's like, how, Sway? How? And he's mad. Like, and that's what, like, when I see people or you go through that process of trying to figure it out, like, that's the question you should ask yourself. I think when you run up against these challenges, is just how and be mad about it, right? But like, even though that scenario is pretty like comical, I think when you look back on it, you see that as like Kanye, regardless how you feel about him, or like if he did more things for himself, even as he tried to do that, a lot of his limitations were based in the fact that he had these relationships with these companies that end up dropping him. Like that's like kind of maybe an ongoing thing, you know? So like trying to ask yourself the hard question and figure out how, like, how do you make it happen and not be so worried about like, oh, you're in a bad situation. There's no way out. More so just start to get your brain to work and start to like really think about solutions of how to lift yourself out of that circumstance.
I think a lot of that will stem from, belief in yourself, outward thinking. So like believing that you're capable of achieving it is the most important part first. Because I feel like if you believe that you can make good on whatever situation you're in, that's when all the creativity will come about. That's when those opportunities will come about because you're manifesting greatness. So I feel like it's very important to manifest that something good is coming along your way. You may not know what it is or how you're going to go about it, but allow yourself to take some time to run under it and actually come up with a decent, well thought out plan or run into a great opportunity too. But opportunities don't come unless you apply yourself. So if you're applying yourself in the way you need to and you're doing your due diligence as far as what you need there, then I don't see why things can't happen for you. From that point, it's just a state of mind that's going to take you over the edge.
So Joe, I guess what do you think? Because sometimes you'll share something, but then it sounds like easy, like you explain it so like it's easy. Right.
So in other words, you want to break something down.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What you want me to break down, man?
Just so just the mindset of and understanding like just the resiliency and how like how you can start to kind of like just really believe that because it's not like I think I look at it and it's not just like oh you just like need to be resilient right like well like what
um,
are the actions how do you think someone can kind of
Man, this is easy,
build up
man. And I'm saying it's easy because by you putting a bad connotation on it, dude, it's not gonna do you no justice. So that's how life, like, man, this is easy. It's just that I don't know how to do it yet. Because once you know how to do it, you'll be like, damn, this is easy. I wish can't believe that I didn't know how to do this before. That's usually work. Think about riding a bike, how it took you forever to learn how to balance without forever, right? Start riding and it even got to a point where all was one training wheel on one side. So ideally, I was really riding on two wheels, but it was a state of mind. And that's what I mean by that. Like I was already riding on two wheels, but I was tricking myself into thinking that I really need that extra balance when I really didn't. So, so I said all that to kind of make fun of myself, my younger self, to just say, man, it's literally a state of mind. Like the ways you can go about this is writing down your accomplishments. It doesn't matter how you got there. The whole point is you accomplished it. It doesn't matter how long it took. You got there. You know what I'm saying? There's no other type of room for discussion. That's how you kill your self esteem, go into a state of depression. That's how you let other people out. Nobody can take your accomplishments no matter how long it took you or how hard you fought for them or how little effort you put into it. Maybe you're just talented. So all I'm saying is you should all that down. So what I used to do to build confidence in myself is I would have a list of my accomplishments. I prized accomplishments over my period of my life. I would rank for like 5 to 10, right? And this will all be like notes in my phone. So 5 to 10. And then you also have a list of your accomplishments for the year. So whatever you got as far as under your belt, as far as accomplishments and what you said, whether that's getting some certifications, maybe getting promoted, maybe you reached a certain goal as far as saving money and putting it away. Maybe you reached a certain goal as far as how many things you invested in. Like I can give you an example. I in a certain like I reached 30 shares of that stock. And that shares amount of those shares is worth probably about or take whole 10 grand, right? That's a goal. That's an accomplishment. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is like if you have goals set, which I know you do, but you just write them down. Guarantee you, if you have your highlight reel of the whole year in down, you're gonna feel a lot better about yourself and you're gonna feel and really understand the power of resiliency. It's just a matter of tapping into yourself and actually realizing the stuff that you do day to day. And you could be in bad situations in all aspects of your life, but I guarantee you there's few days out of those bad situations where you actually make good. Everybody doesn't have a bad day every day. And if you do, that's because you choose to look at things that way. We need to fix that mindset. And by fixing that mindset, it's writing down your accomplishments. That's a start. I think another option too is, you know, find something, some kind of activity that you're good at or that you actually don't mind doing and challenge yourself and see your progression over time. So a good example would be maybe you want to get in, some physical condition. Maybe you want to get in the right condition. So maybe you to start off small by walking around the block once a day. Then as time goes on, maybe you'll walk 2 or 3 times around the block. Maybe you even extend your route even more to where maybe you start walking a mile a day, 2 miles a day, and you get all the way maybe running 5 miles. A, and that all can be a gradual process for a year. And you can do that in a very healthy way, no injury. It just goes back to proper planning and actually building yourself up to that. Problem is everybody wants jump to the end result, but they don't want to put in the grind or put in the time to get there. And the journey is way more important than the goal destination, just because you learn so many things about yourself and you and everything. You, it's worth it. It's worth it. So if you're not afraid to challenge yourself, if you're not afraid to actually like go out there and get it, if you're that hungry and you're that motivated, you're gonna find alternatives, you're gonna find solutions, you're gonna have opportunities to get everything that you need.
Which
Is
I
that
think you
enough
cook.
detail?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good enough to where I'm not even gonna say the rest of the stuff I had because I think what you said is where it's really what the main takeaways should be. I think you captured it pretty well, and I'm all right with closing on that. If you are,
Yeah, so let me get back to the few points and then we get in that there, man. So think about our thinking in a motivational way. Think about believing in yourself. That comes first. The next thing is embracing challenges. Practice gratitude wherever you can. Definitely visualize success. That's very important because you want to know why you're doing this and where you going and where you headed. Take care of yourself, man. That's very important. Self care is a big thing. I'm not talking about being selfish with time. I'm just saying take care of yourself. You know how to balance out yourself better than anybody else does. You know your strengths and weaknesses. So I'm not getting into that. Keep learning, stay resilient, and stay hungry.
thanks for listening.
Okay.
Gapstone.